If you haven't already, I really recommend you watch my video, What is Analysis? Because if you're feeling unsure about analysis as a whole, that video is going to be key in helping you to understand the kind of foundation information that you need. What I'm going to be focusing on here is what structural analysis is and how it is different from language analysis. So, language analysis is when you're analysing how the words and language features in a text create meaning. With structural analysis, you're essentially analysing the order that a text is written in and any structural devices that they use. How exactly you analyse the structure of different text types is going to be different, and that is because the way different text types are structured is different. For example, when we're dealing with a 20-chapter novel, how that is going to be structured is going to be very, very different combined to a 15-line poem. So you have to learn about the different structural devices and the different strategies for analysing the structure of different text types. However, the general rule of thumb is to ask yourself one key question. Why does the writer use that technique at that point? Or why does the writer reveal that information at that point? To show you what I mean, we're going to have a quick look at the poem Exposure by Wilfred Owen. Now, don't worry, we're not going to be going into masses of detail. I'm just going to show you what I mean about that difference between language analysis and structural analysis. So you can see here that the opening line of Exposure by Wilfred Owen is "Our brains ache in the merciless ice-east winds that knife us." If we were going to be doing language analysis of that quote, we would analyse the metaphors of "our brains ache," the word choice of merciless, the personification of the wind that knives us. We might also analyse like the first person plural pronouns of "our" and "us." However, if we're doing structural analysis, we're not going to do any of that. Instead, we're going to aim to answer one key question, and that is, why is that the first line of the poem? Why start the poem with "our brains ache in the merciless ice-east winds"? Why not start the poem with "but nothing happens" or "sudden successive flights of bullets streak the silence"? Why that line first? And answering that question is going to be our structural analysis. The key to answering that question, though, is tied to language. Often it can be quite hard to ask yourself, what is the structure of a text trying to say? And the key is to always try to link it back to the language. So for example, you would do language analysis of that quote and explore how it identifies the impact on their mental health and the power of the nature. And you would then analyse how that foregrounds the key messages of the poem by placing it on the very first line. Is really emphasising that that is the main impact of war. When you're looking at structural analysis on a bigger scale, so not just in a poem, but more like a novel or a play, part of the key to structural analysis is exploring how things develop over the course of the text and asking yourself that question of why. Why do things develop in the way that they do? For example, if we take the play An Inspector Calls by J.B. Priestley, we can split that play into basically 3 chunks: before the inspector arrives, the inspector's investigation, and then after the inspector leaves. Now, structurally, there are some key questions there. Number 1, what were things like before the inspector arrived? How do things change or stay the same while the inspector is there? How do things then change or stay the same after the inspector has left? And for the things that have changed, why have they changed? For the things that have not changed, why have they not changed? So structural analysis on large scale of whole text is about tracking the development of themes and characters and exploring how things have changed as the text has gone on and why.